Every year, more than 300 women in Colorado are diagnosed with ovarian cancer. By the time they're diagnosed, many of those women are in stage 3 or 4 of their cancer journey. The problem, the symptoms are hard to spot. And that's why events like Jodi's race are so important, which will be a virtual race this year. It not only helps raise money for the Colorado Ovarian Cancer Alliance, but it educates women about the signs and symptoms of the disease. Number 7's Katie LaSalle recently talked to a doctor about what to look for.
Joining us now is Dr. Jeff James with the Colorado Center for Gynecologic Oncology. Doctor, first, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
No, my pleasure. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Of course, I'd like to start our discussion with more on ovarian cancer. There are only subtle symptoms, no screening tests, yet it is the most deadly gynecologic cancer. What should we all know at home?
Well, unfortunately, the symptoms are very vague, which is part of the problem in terms of how deadly it is, because we're not able to identify it at an early stage. Most of the time, it's a stage 3 or 4 by the time we're able to identify that a patient actually has ovarian cancer. And those symptoms being vague are abdominal pain or bloating, early satiety or feeling full very quickly, abdominal swelling, or frequency with urination. And those can be symptoms of many different things, most of which are not ovarian cancer, which is why we're not able to identify it at an earlier stage.
And talking about symptoms and now moving into Jodi's race this year, it means so much for so many. It was actually started by a young Colorado mom, Jodi, who felt she would have caught her cancer earlier if she'd been just aware of those symptoms you spoke about. Why is it so important to support this community event and specifically the Colorado Ovarian Cancer Alliance this year?
Well, COCA is just an amazing organization with amazing people who have a heart for caring for these patients, and they do it in many different ways. They have a financial component to them that tries to help patients out financially, an emotional support component of them that has support groups that are able to meet and allow the patients to have a supportive environment as they go through a very scary time in their life. And certainly even just bags which are full of things like blankets and information packets, and just an informational component to them that allows these patients to have some insight into what they're dealing with and what they're about to encounter that they likely had no clue of prior to their diagnosis.
It's wonderful. And how will you and your team be participating this year in Jodi's Race Virtual Dash?
Well, I will not be running on a treadmill, but I think some of our participants will be running outside or even on a treadmill. I think we're going to be certainly doing some question and answer time or sessions during the course of the race in order to try to clarify some of these vague symptoms and what we can do to maybe get people diagnosed earlier. And then, of course, we have donated a couple of things to some bags that will go to some of our survivors in order to just say thank you for what they mean to us. And I mean, we work hard, but it's a joint effort. I mean, what these women go through and what they come through is just so inspiring, and we're just very humbled to be able to be involved in saying thank you and support them during this time.
Thank you, Dr. James, for all that vital information, for all you do, and the best to you and your team this year.
Thank you, you as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
And thank you both. Now is the time to sign up for Jodi's race if you want to get your survivor beads, supporter t-shirt, and other items before the June 13th online watch party. The watch party is what would have been the after party on race day. You can find a link to sign up on the community page of thedenverchannel.com.